winners from last year, of course, with Federer on a medical leave in this final 16 also. But, you know, we talk about a bunch of names, when are they going to win it? And there's a bunch of those in that final 16.
Yeah, absolutely. Johan Chua and Carlo Biado, the two Philippines players in the field, were both among the very biggest favourites. But neither of them are here. So very unusual to enter the weekend of one of these events with nobody from that Toolmag nation. The most represented country in the last 16 lineup is Germany. They actually staged the European Open for all of the 3 previous times it was played. Now it's moved to Bosnia and Herzegovina, but they're still making their presence felt. 3 Germans in the final 16. The only other country with more than 1 player is Poland, with 2. One of those will be featuring in this match. But you know, looking at the man in the picture, he's one of 47 players from the host nation who started out, but realistically, he was the only one who could have any genuine expectation that he was going to go a very long way in the tournament. And that's a big burden to carry.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, probably thinking about this kind of moment for quite some time, knowing when he knew this event was coming to his home country and just 10 minutes from his house, and you know, probably had a lot of wonderful nights thinking about it, maybe some sleepless nights thinking about it, but he's gotten the job done so far.
And by far the biggest challenge he's had so far was the match against Declan Catchy last night. And you could see at the end, we actually saw it at the top of the show there, the way he reacted, the relief that he had avoided the possibility of the weekend of this tournament going ahead without him. And also the sheer joy of beating one of the very best. It really was clear just how much this means to him with the way he reacted to victory last night.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we all know they're good friends, but obviously somewhat of an idol and hero of his. So I think that was as big a win, just beating Eklund, as it was getting to the final 16.
Let's have a look then at the prize money, which is a factor, although for Pelovanovic you have to think this weekend that the main thing on his mind is the prospect of winning a title here in his home city. $40,000 to the winner, and that's actually an increase of 1/3 from last year, so that's good to see. And there you can see how quickly it actually goes up. $4,000 guarantee for everyone who's made it this far, and that becomes $7,000 if you make it through to tonight's play. 5-figure check then, if you're still around tomorrow. That goes up to $16,000 for the runner-up, and $40,000 for the winner. And remember, every dollar you win, as everything is configured in dollars on the World 9-Ball Tour, gets you a ranking point. Semyon Pelovanovic will really want a lot of those, because last year was not a good year for him. Started it as one of the top 20 players in the world and ended it just clinging on to the top 40. He's going to make a massive climb, whatever happens, as a result of what he's achieved so far. Coming to the end of the practice rack, and as you say, he'll have dreamed about being part of this weekend, which really is the business phase of it. Now it's just a few moments away. What do you think will be going through his head at the moment?
Well, I think he's really fallen into a routine. If you notice, really trying to approach every shot the same, going to stick to that. Probably whatever's gone through his head during some of these matches, because he went through easy at first, but not so easy at the last couple. So he's just going to stick to his guns. Whatever he's been feeling, just don't let doubt creep in.
You know, the impressive thing as well is he has embraced a sort of ambassadorial role for this tournament, not just in the lead up to it, but through the week as well. So to take that on and still be able to then switch off from that, go onto the table and play as well as he has, that makes it even more impressive.
Yeah, and you know, he's a young man, so I mean, plenty of strength. But I think that constant, solid, positive energy isn't, even though it may not be your normal routine trying to win these events.
So all the preparations are complete, the balls are being racked, the lag will follow. Action going on 4 tables simultaneously, and then another 4 last 16 matches later in the afternoon. A lot of mental stamina required, even from this stage on. Matches can be a bit spread out over the early days. Being played twice yesterday, but now it really is relentless all the way to the finish line on Sunday night. He's been around such a long time, Shevchik. JJ, it's hard to believe he's only 30.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's just how the game is. They're so young. I mess up the ages all the time. Hasn't seems so important in the early rounds on this table just because it's hard to get shots after the breaks, but I think it will mean something moving forward. I know this is our main match, but just looking at all the other matches, look at Yap trying to win his first major here on the World 9-Ball Tour. Copigny, he has one. Daniel Maciel trying to get one. Aiki Boy.
Race to 10 then for a place in the quarterfinals of the European Open.
Down, and Maciel at times in certain tournaments had been questioned if he was really using that forceful break. He's picked up the speed like many others. See a little arc on the one ball. Uniquely, all the balls are kind of on one side of the table. Usually makes for a very difficult rack. I tell you, I don't see a whole lot here besides. Going to try and creep this behind the 4-5. Touchy shot with inside spin.
So Talovanovic coming to the table, 23 years of age. As I say, he's slumped to 40 in the world rankings, but has been a good deal higher than that in the very recent past.
Probably would have liked a little more separation than on the cue ball in the 2, but first shot of the match, you want to get the guaranteed snooker. Now what's he going to do to a troublesome 6-8? Wow, would have loved that. The crowd. You never know, there might be a little gap. Okay, immediately going to the short cushion. This will be hit with a light speed, trying to utilize the 8. Wow, badly misjudged, really. Not only, light speed, Michael, but I'm not sure if it was enough speed to really make contact, but also missing the mark by like some piece.
So we know when we get to the business end of these major events, we get people watching who've not seen the sport before, so great to have you along. And one of the things we need to inform you about is that every foul needs to ball in hand.
Yeah, and we'll see how this develops, but this is the type of situation where 3 in a row, 3 fouls in a row is a loss of game, 3 in a row by the same player. This is a possibility, especially if he tucks the cue ball away behind the purple. He's going 2 cushions. A lot of speed here.
So you've always got to make contact first with the lowest numbered ball remaining on the table. As long as you do that, any pot you make is legal and keeps you at the table. But the only ball that actually counts in terms of winning the rack is the 9 ball. Of course, you don't have to pot all the other balls necessarily before the 9. If, for example, the 4 is the lowest numbered ball left on the table, and you hit that onto the 9 and the 9 goes in, that's the end of the rack.
Look at this, a jump with a lot of spin.
Của 5 người xem rồi.
Oh, that's really good.
When you outline the rules of 9 ball like that, Jeremy, to people who aren't familiar with the game, they think that sounds really unfair. It's only 1 ball that counts. But when you actually see it in action and played by really good players, it all makes sense.
Yeah, and some would say maybe that was a foul, but it definitely got the 2 first.
And even added the little heel kick for aplomb.
He's going to attack here on a 2-4 combination, 2 into the pink. At least that's what it appears like he's gonna do. He doesn't have the easiest safety, even though it looks kind of like there should be something easier.
So that's what I was saying again for those not familiar. As long as you hit the lowest numbered ball first, which he did, which was the 2, had he managed to knock that onto the 4 and then pop the 4, that would have kept him at the table. But it wasn't to be.
Nothing easy here. Very delicate, trying to shave the 2 and run the cue ball. And you'll take any snooker from there. It's obviously a snooker that's not going to reward ball in hand, and quite possibly Sanjin, you might consider him a favorite from here, just because there's a lot you can do with the kick. But I think Shevchuk did as well as he could. Okay, he wants to bank the 2, kick behind it, bank it down below the 8 and below the 3-9. Cue ball might come towards the top cushion. He stuck it. Just really putting the emphasis on the 2. You're always going to lose games out here. It's just impossible to win every one of them, along with matches. But the main thing is to make him earn it.
Unheard of, but out of the ordinary, I would say, to have a start to a rack like this, where we're this far into it in terms of time and shots played, and only 1 ball has gone down. The tactical side of the game can be wonderful to watch, but this is a particularly long exchange.
Yeah, like I said, when you broke and all the balls were on one side, hard to get a lot of offensive paths from one to the next. And possibly to get a little fortune.
Threatened to have a bit of fortune there, but seemed to hit both points of the side pocket.
What's that?
Not a lot of angle here to kind of draw stun over, but there's definitely enough. Just had to draw back over, so that showed you there wasn't a ton of angle. Shevchuk, like a lot of the Polish players, very good cueing, but also very simple cueing. Not a whole lot going on in the stroke. Very fundamentally sound.
Yeah, 30 years of age, as I said. Number 17 in the world rankings. They're both looking to reach the quarterfinals of this European Open. Shevchuk is the only one of the 2 who's done it before 2 years ago. Knocked out by Anton Raga, who went on to get within 1 rack of winning the whole thing that week.
Yeah, our 3 European Open finals have been something never to forget, really. Albin and SVB, the first year. I think it was 13-11 in the final there.
Correct.
And we had, of course, David and Anton, like you said, with an epic match, 13-12. And was it 13-9 maybe last year? Is that right? Something like that. Between Johan Chua and Nicky Kraus.
I think it was a little
stretch on the margin there. 13-8, 13-7
yeah,
maybe. But
yeah.
Most recent for some reason, maybe just the Mickey win. I forgot the score line.
Yeah, I didn't want to say till I was sure, but I did think it was 13-8. I've just checked that. Mickey Kraus beat Johan Chua. But actually, a bit like the Hanoi final, it didn't quite tell the story, the margin in the end of how dramatic it was. So a lengthy exchange early on in the rack. Ultimately resulted in an opportunity for Shevchuk. The experienced Pole has this to lead 1-0. Efficiently done. Wojciech Shevchuk gets the first rack on the board. I say experienced. That's seem like a strange word to use about someone who's only 30, but he's been around so long. He was only 18 when he was part of the Poland team that got to the World Cup of Pool final. They were a couple of racks away from winning it. Shevchik and Karol Skaversky against Finland. He was in the World Championship quarterfinals. Proved on that with the run to the semis last year. Elsewhere, Piers Labutis of Lithuania has won the first rack against Aloysius Yap, and Duong Kwok Hwang, who's looking to reach his third major quarterfinal, has opened a 1-0 lead over Moritz Neuhausen. They've also completed the opening rack on table 3. Daniel Maciol, who was 1 rack away from the semi-finals of this event last year. Only 1-0 up on the former world champion Ko Pin-Yi, and just as I was saying that, the score has changed again. Maciol has added the second rack, so he...
Yeah, I believe it was a break and run. Great spot here in our booth. We can see most of the action on all the tables.
Yeah, if you've not watched much 9-ball, I can tell you Jeremy Jones has this incredible ability to follow in great detail any number of matches in one room all at once. Really, it's coming to the fore again today. Shevchik to break, rack 2.
Just going to talk about maybe what you'll see between the two players and maybe the pluses and minuses between the two. And I'd have to give the breaking in to Sanjin. He definitely breaks the balls. Seems like always really well. Maybe a little percentage pull at times. I'd give that to Shevchik, but overall pretty even between the two.
Yeah, and again, if you're not familiar with the game and you're wondering why Shevchik is broken in both racks, it's winner breaks, as is the case for most events. If you win the rack, you get to break in the next one. What you're looking to do most of the time is make that one in a side pocket. That's the sign of a good break. And again, there's a lot of fortune involved, even if you do make any ball off the break in terms of how they lay out. It's a chance for Pelovanovic to go at something.
Yeah, that's going to be a nice one to start with. Not just a pretty easy shot, pretty routine for these guys, but you know, being aggressive, not settling, drawing the cue ball back a little more tidy on the 2. That's a confident kind of mindset, so that'll bode well. Should do the same here, get nice and tidy on the 3. Thing about you'll see with these players, when they're in good position, they're going to stay aggressive, keeping that good position as they should. So when they start to get a little out of line, you have to work a little more, settle for a little longer shot, maybe play the percentages. You have to have a lot of resolve in this game as well. Easy to get down 4 or 5-0 in these matches without doing a whole lot wrong. And you start to question what the pool gods have in mind for you that day. And this is going to hurt a little bit. If he just crept into enough, can he draw the cue ball and take a little distance on the purple? Doesn't want to go forward with the brown. They're kind of in the path of the cue ball.
It's great to see how the attendances have built throughout the week here in Sarajevo, and as always, the biggest crowds turn out at the weekend. I'm sure it will continue to grow as we move towards the final, particularly if Pelovanovic can keep going on this run.
Did avoid the brown. Still has to work a little bit, and that's from that misposition on the pink. Didn't get as tidy as he wanted, and now has to kind of stun this ball out. This is where the pocket becomes a little smaller. Tip kind of came up on him a hair. That's why he has a little more angle. If he draws that back a little bit, he lessens the angle. It's a little odd. Trying to maintain on the right side of the table with the cue ball. Yeah, that's what I thought. Didn't think he would miss it, but I thought it was missable.
Hả? Rẻ là bao tiền?
Could be a big moment early on. The first rack was a bit frustrating for him. Never really got a chance to get in. When he was left a pot from distance at the start of this rack, he made it. Hasn't managed to see it out from there. Shevchik has a great opportunity to go too clear.
Good speed there. That shot can be tricky coming out of the pocket, especially on the slick table. But what happens in 9-ball pool is when you make a little mistake positionally, it doesn't always cost you, you know, that shot in front of you. It's 1 or 2 shots down the road, kind of snowballs.
Of course, with that winner breaks format I was talking about, you miss a ball, it can end up costing you 2 or 3 racks, or maybe even more than that. You might not get back to the table for a while, so there's a lot of pressure on every shot.
One thing that most all the Polish contingent is labeled as is very solid. May not be Johan Chua highlight reel or some of the other greats that we love watching. Just not going to falter too much.
So the missed 6 has ended up costing Pelovanovic. Shevchik, his usual efficient self, in advancing from there to a 2-0 lead. Let's have a look at some of the other events coming up in 2025. This is the first major tournament of the year, and there have been dates announced for other events. The Premier League starts in this venue in just a few days' time. Then we'll be in Telford once again for Robbie Capito's title defence at the UK Open later in the spring. US Open, Fedor Gorst defending there in late August. The Hanoi Open, which has been an unbelievable success story over the last couple of years. That'll be coming up again in the capital of Vietnam in early October. The Reyes Cup then, the same month in Manila. Asia will be defending the title. And of course the Mosconi Cup in December at Alexandra Palace. But they're just some of the dates, Jeremy. There will be plenty more added to that as we flesh out the schedule over the coming months.
Yeah, and there's tons of smaller ranking events all over the world also that become a big part of this tour.
Yeah, Shevchik has actually won one of those in Spain a couple of years ago. Pelovanovic still waiting for his first ranking title. And he's also waiting for his first rack. Had a good chance there in the second. Ended up losing it. Shevchik breaking once again. Came up dry in the previous rack. But not this time. He has made the golden break. When the 9 goes down at any point, as long as it's a legal shot, that ends the rack. And how Pelovanovic has really been punished for his miss in rack 2, because Shevchik has swept into a 3-0 lead. After 3 years in Germany, we've moved to Bosnia and Herzegovina. Capital city Sarajevo, renowned in the sporting world as home of the Winter Olympics all the way back in 1984, but now welcoming the stars of 9-ball pool. Wojciech Ševčík flying high in the early stages of this last 16 encounter with Sanjin Pelevanovic, and how quickly things can turn. It looked as though the hometown player was going to level at 1-1. He let Ševčík back in. That was 2-0. It also gave the pole the break in rack 3, and here's what he did with it. 9-ball being kicked in by the cue ball, going into the side pocket. The golden break coming as early as rack 3. Ševčík acknowledging the good fortune he enjoyed, which is always part of a golden break. And all of a sudden, he's leading 3-0. Same situation for Pius Labutas of Lithuania. It's only the third time Labutas has been to the last 16 of a major event. Both of the previous occasions, he's gone on to the semi-finals. And he's off to a really good start against the world number 4, Aloysius Yap, leading 3-0. 3-1 for Daniel Maciol of Poland against Ko Pin-yi, and Duong Kwok-Wang, who's been in 2 major quarterfinals before, making great progress in his bid to reach another. He leads 4-0 against the former World Cup of Pool finalist Moritz Neuhausen of Germany. Ševčík looking for this rack to go 4-0 here.
I'll tell you what, it helps when you can pick up the speed on the break. And excuse me, I almost said Maciol, but Ševčík has certainly worked on more speed and moving that 9 around a lot. Now, brand new kind of territory for Sanjin. I don't think he's trailed the entire week in a match, and certainly not by 2 or 3 games.
Well, he just cruised through the early rounds. He only lost 3 racks in total in his first 3 matches. Ševčík's had a couple of close ones against Phil Wildman and Tobias Bongers along the way. His big moment was beating 2-time world champion Albin Ocean yesterday.
I'll tell you, it looks simple but so effective. Bringing that cue ball up on the 9 really has made awkward cueing hard to get a lot of power on this kick shot as well, and cut off a couple rails.
Extension call.
Tell you, if he tries to come 2 cushions behind this, which is what most would do, being jacked up, he may not get a cushion. Again, it's all ball fouls, so if you feather the 9 with your cue or your hand or anything like that, it's ball in hand. Yeah, this is super awkward. 2 cushions is the way you want to go, but you need some speed. Really good hit. I'll tell you what, I know it's only 3-0, but to get him on the board, and we'll see how this match unfolds. Remember that kick shot later on.
It's a game of being in control of the situation, isn't it? Because Pelevanovic was in control of it in the second rack. The miss passed that control over to Ševčík, and he's kept that control since, hasn't he? Next time Pelevanovic comes to the table, he's in a difficult spot there because Ševčík was able to control the situation by getting first ball down in this rack, and it all goes back to that miss a couple of racks ago.
Yeah, absolutely. His first look since that miss was this kick shot on the 3. I think will play as a pretty important one. Touchy shot here with the ball near the cushion. Yeah, the double kiss is always there.
And now it's Pelevanovic back in control. Ball in hand this time. He's got to make more of it.
Yeah, he missed his mark by some piece there. I mean, he was almost at like 2/3 of the ball, knowing that ball near the cushion. And this is a huge game here. I know it's early, but for a few reasons, not only to get on the board, which it's always hard to get that first one and last one, as we say, but just for between the ears for Sanjin at the moment.
Yeah, so as saying, he flew through the first 3 rounds, winning them all 9-1. And then he was very comfortable against Bezar Spahiu of Albania in the last 64. Spahiu put in a late rally, but really had left himself too far to come back from. So 10-6 that finished, and last night, by far his best win of the tournament so far. Beat the number 2 seed, Eklund Kachi. Struggled a bit to get over the line at the end, but did get the job done. Kachi a little unfortunate towards the finish, but Pelovanovic made it count. That's why he's here for the last 16 today. Against as experienced and reliable an opponent as Shevchik. Can't pass up 2 opportunities in the first 4 racks. So the pressure on here for Pelovanovic. A little bit nervy, but 9 still shouldn't be a problem. Passed up his chance in rack 2, didn't make the same mistake again a couple of racks later. So Pelovanovic, much to the appreciation of the hometown crowd, is now on the board. Shevchik's lead is cut to 3-1. Now let's go to table 2. This is Aloysius Yap against Pius Labutis. And this is Yap, former US Open runner-up, the 2nd highest ranked player left in the tournament. 3-1 down against Pius Labutis. But this was to get back to 3-2. Oh, this was actually to get back to 3-1. Okay, so Yap on the board there. I think if you were having a conversation, Jeremy, about the best player in the game not to have won one of these, be right up there near the top of it.
Yeah, especially, I mean, it just seems like every time he's put one way or another, and I know the man real well, and one of my favorites to watch play, and he's breaking the balls better and better, and like I said, tactically he's so good. And he can handle the pressure, so I'd be shocked if he didn't take down one in 2025.
Fifth break. Sanjin Pelovanovic to break.
Wong Kwok Wang is absolutely flying. 5-0 up already against Moritz Neuhausen. Daniel Maciol is having a great day too. Looking to get to the quarterfinals of this European Open for the 2nd year in a row, leading Ko Pin-Yi by 4 racks to 1. Here it's Pelovanovic with his first break of the match at 3-1 down.
All right, the 2's going to open up. Pretty close quarters all overall, and has a bit of an angle going away from the red 3, but there's some space out there to work the cue ball. Should be a favorite to get out. From what I've seen with Wong and Maciol is they're really just kind of one mistake from their opponent, and then they really punished them. This overhead tells me this is a bit more tricky. Going forward, it looks like he has to contact the 9, which could end up with an early win. But otherwise, he'll have to dig on the cue ball. You would love to be able to go forward right here, maybe 2 rails, maybe contact the pink to open up that pocket.
And for those new to the game, the top players carry with them a separate cue for these jump shots.
Say he doesn't want to give up an early winner with the four so difficult, and this is dressed up about as good as it could.
Shevchik only played one shot in rack 3, and that was enough to win it. It could be the same here again a couple of racks later.
Extension code.
Now, if the cue ball was just a foot or two further, you'd almost feel like this is a gimme. But there is some distance.
Extension code.
Not the type of shot you want to fire, but you're not going to roll it, obviously. But definitely, you got to shoot it.
This for 4-1. It's another early win for the Pole. He's 3 clear again. Just talking about the jump cue that I referred to that we saw Pelovanovic using a moment ago, Jeremy, for those who are uninitiated, explain to us what exactly it is that differentiates the jump cue from the normal playing cue.
Well, it's just specialized just for jump shots itself. You know, a lot of times the tip is different. There's a lot of weight taken out. You'll see the diameter of the shafts are usually a little bigger than your playing cue. It's just made specifically to get the ball airborne in a bunch of different ways, and the technology on it these days is it's kind of gone through the roof, really.
So this is the miss from Pelovanovic, but he had put himself in that position. That said, he can consider himself a bit unlucky that the 3-9 combination was left, and after the misfortune of having his opponent serve up a golden break a couple of racks earlier, you might feel those pool gods you like to talk about, Jeremy, are not quite on his side so far in this match.
Yeah, I mean, the opening shot, he was near the rail with the cue ball. He wasn't trying to make the 9. He was trying to play position off the 9. Didn't feel like he had much else. And very unfortunate, considering the pink was a difficult ball for the 3 to go up and down the table and dress up near the 9. Sometimes in pool guides, you just got to pull them aside and have a talk with them. Two's going to open. The 3's going to be near. This could be a big lead going into our break. Set up really nice.
We always hear about away teams in big football matches setting out to silence the home crowd early on. Feels like that's exactly what Shevchik is doing at the moment. There's been a fairly muted reaction to what he's been doing. That's exactly the effect he's come here to bring.
I was just going to say about Shevchik, you know, it's not quite as good as some of the others with the long ball. I think you'll see an odd miss that we don't expect, or maybe one that we feel like he should make that gets away. But once he gets the cue ball in line, he's a very, very efficient player, and just kind of in a sneaky way and goes about his business without you really feeling how good he is.
And a seriously good player as well. Talked about his win over Shane Van Bonen at the World Championship last year. He ended up getting within 3 racks of a place in the World Final. Eventually beaten by Fedor Gorst, who went on to win the title. extended run in a matchroom event in 2024 came in this event. And reached this last 16 stage. Lost to Johan Chua, who is the eventual runner-up.
Just like any, like a golf tournament, when it comes down to two players, where you get that match play feeling, that's how it is in pool every match. You really got to apply some heat. Your opponent knows that, or has to know that you're really not going to make many mistakes, and that just adds that pressure on every shot. And that just hasn't been the case so far here early. You can see Shevchuk, even though hard to tell with him anyways, but seems pretty comfortable.
You used the word efficient to describe him a few minutes ago. And I think that just about sums up his performance so far in this last 16 match. Shevchuk already halfway to victory. He leads 5-1.
Về. Này. Đi về.
We've made our way to Sarajevo, the fascinating capital city of Bosnia and Herzegovina in this corner of southeastern Europe. It's a place where there's a really big pool culture, and their standard bearer, Sanjin Pelovanovic, is still here at the European Open in last 16 action at the moment. Pius Labutis of Lithuania, a two-time semi-finalist in these big Matchroom Open events, now leading 4-2 against the number 3 seed, Aloysius Yap. Daniel Maciol was a quarter-finalist in this tournament last year. He's looking good to get there again because he's 5-2 up against the former world champion Ko Pin-Yi. And Duong Quoc Huang of Vietnam looking to reach his third major quarter-final in the space of a couple of years. Just over that, And he's leading 5-1 against Moritz Neuhausen. He's trying to reach his first major quarter-final. Wojciech Szewczyk has been getting to the business end of big events for a long time, and he's very much in control here against Sanjin Pelovanovic. He's breaking with a 5-1 lead.
This two ball's going to open up again. He's got the left side of the cue ball somewhat anyways, even though awkward cueing, and that's the side you would want to open on the blue two. Middle of the table fairly open also, so kind of freely come down towards the brown 7, maybe try to play the red 3 in the middle by the purple 5. Tell you, if he gets this ball down, of course the pink 4 is a little tucked away on that side cushion, but if he gets this ball down, I think he becomes a favorite to get out again. Okay, this is going to end up on top of the 3. It's settled. I don't know if it's really playable or not, but position on the pink 4 is going to be difficult. Spin on that ball. Of course, the extreme left side of the cue ball was really what was available without jacking up over the red 3, so probably just played it there thinking don't take a chance at fouling. This kind of held on and grabbed. Sanjin, even though he's somewhat snookered or maybe cut off a bit, pretty happy to get to the table. Maybe a swerve here if he needs it. I don't know if he does. And the one thing here, and we'll see if he has to elevate the cue. I kind of like this kick. Only reason being is I think you can get a little more speed on it, and you're not kicking the 3 towards the pink 4. Unfortunate scratch, so he's going to have to overcome it when he gets another chance.
He worked so hard last night against Eklund Kachi to make his way into the weekend's play in his home city. Pelovanovic must feel he's not really got properly involved yet.
You know, if I had to reflect on halfway through this match, obviously opportunities have been a little more for Szewczyk, but go back to that missed 6 ball. I believe it was in rack 2, I think it was.
That's correct.
He's gotten odd on this one. Definitely has made this missable. Plus, he has to get into the ball a little bit to get position. If you're Sanjin, this cue ball landed about as awkward as it could with ball in hand.
Extension card.
Recovery. A little worried about the cue ball. Did overrun it just a touch, but still in a pretty good position.
Now people talk about the small table and the big pockets, albeit not quite as big as they used to be. But that misses the point, doesn't it? Because it's the context of everything you try to do. You refer to that missed 6 from Pelovanovic, and how that's really set the tone for so much of what's followed. Szewczyk just flicks off the 9. Is he on the 6?
Well, sometimes the racking area, you can get a little divots just because the ball's kind of hopping a little bit. Cue ball coming in at it, a little air. But he did escape. Well, it's just a different dynamic when you talk about if you're referring to like a snooker reference versus 9-ball pool. It's the way we have to move the cue ball and position the cue ball. So much side spin, so much more side spin than snooker. It's just apples and oranges in my mind.
And the consequences of even one miss can be so enormous because there aren't that many balls missed in the course of a match. Every one that you do come up short on, it can end up one way or another, making a difference of several racks.
Yeah, and when I watch, snooker, of course, They're all great cueists, just like they are here on the World 9-Ball Tour, but ton of two-way shots played from distance. You know, you're always covering the cue ball because, you know, you're somewhat low percentage at times. So, where I think it's a bit more aggressive in the World 9-Ball Tour. Oh, that was a pretty confident stroke. So we're going to end up a little shy, perfect. And of course, it feels like all the pressure's on Sanjin, but also to keep maintaining this lead. Shevchuk's going to feel a little bit of it, especially if he falls a little out of line on the money ball.
Not a guaranteed 9, but if he gets it, he'll be 6-1 up. Once again, the job is done. And it's a very, very different feel to Pelovanović's match last night, Jeremy, isn't it? There was a really good atmosphere. There was so much tension about it with the close finish. This is just a totally different day. The place has gone very quiet, but that's exactly what Ševčík came here to do.
Hey!
Without a doubt. The good thing for Sanjin is not going to take much for that crowd to get going. So given the opportunity, if he could just sustain a little bit, put a nice rack together, get that big break going, we'll hear a ton from this crowd.
Poland's Daniel Maciol into the weekend stage of the European Open for the 3rd year in a row, and 5-3 up now on Ko Pin-Yi, the only one still in the tournament. Dong Kwok Hwang 5-2 up on Moritz Neuhausen, and here on table 2, Pius Labutus, who's been within 1 rack of a major matchroom final just a couple of years ago in Spain, going very well here against Aloysius Yap, closing in potentially on a 5-2 lead.
Yeah, and Pius, who's always been a really solid player, has really come together in the last 2 years. And what I love him when he's out there, he's just kind of playing the game by himself. Does pretty much everything really well.
And we were talking about the fact you've got these major events, and then you've also got some of the smaller. Labutus got to the final of 2 of them last year, including a very famous event in the States, the Derby City Classic, which he was a single rack away from winning. It's all Ševčík here on the main table, 6-1 in front.
All right, watch out, cue ball. It's got a little speed. I think it will settle. He's going to get another look on the 2. Little thinner. Cueing near the rail. With a difficult 3 ball. Below the 9 near the black 8.
Breaking very effectively. He's done it 7 times, and only once has he failed to make the 1 in the side. In fact, he has made it in all of his last 5 attempts.
Yeah, here, this is all about how you're feeling. I mean, you're going to attack on the blue 2. Do you add a little right side spin to come down the middle of the table? You just play with a straight high ball, maybe go towards the 9 and the 3. Main thing is pocket the 2. Play this combination without a doubt, and he's thin enough on it he can avoid the brown 7, pockets the 8. The 3 should bounce up off the cushion. It's going to open for another break and run, really.
Extension call.
Just in total control of proceedings. 2 poles left in the tournament. They really do have so much strength and depth, and it's a new generation of them that's really emerged in recent years, waiting to see who's going to come through and win one of these events. Mieszko Fortunski went very close the UK Open last year. Be no surprise if Shevchik ended up being the one to make the breakthrough.
Yeah, felt a little funny here. Obviously pretty easy to make the ball. I think he just goes forward, plays the purple down in the lower right.
Just a reminder, we do have another last 16 match coming up after this on table 1, and what a treat it is. 2 3-time Mosconi Cup MVPs. 2 of the most exciting players in the game to watch, Jayson and Joshua Filler. They will be along after this, and at this rate, they may not have long to wait.
I'm not sure he was playing really for the upper left, maybe this side, knowing he was going to be in close quarters regardless, but looks like he's fallen perfect. Just a hint of an angle to slide over. Maybe a hair tentative there, but should be enough.
What happened? You take here.
It's absolutely impeccable stuff, this, from Shevchik, and it feels like every time, like there, he falls even slightly out of position, he's immediately recovering the situation. He just doesn't miss balls like this. So this is going to be another break and run, including the golden break. It's his 3rd of the match. And already he's only 3 away from victory. Shevchik leading 7-1. Pelovanovic, the most frustrated man in Sarajevo right now, JJ.
Yeah, absolutely, and you can see it on his face. He knows a couple little things he let get away, and then Shevchik has really pulled out the paddle in punishment, really. But just got to maintain. You know, do you feel like it may be maybe an easy miss? Things if that's going to happen or not, or some kind of bad roll, who knows? But at this point, Sanjin will take any of them.
So, Sarajevo staging an event of this magnitude on the World Tour for the first time. But the action continues right here, the Hotel Hills, just a few days after we finish here. It all starts on Thursday, the Premier League pool. 16 players. Shane Van Boning will be there as defending champion. WNT TV, the place to go for all of that. And you play so many matches in that event, Jeremy, you really do have to have the most amazing mental stamina to win it. And with that in mind, it's no surprise at all that SVB was the champion last year.
Yeah, it was an incredible kind of tournament. And, you know, I never played in anything like that. Many of us haven't. And I'm just kind of curious if I would, you know, take a different approach, having to play so many matches. You know, some of us are kind of ones that would put everything into every shot, and then some kind of get a little more play in their game, you may say, but it's going to be interesting to see how it unfolds. I was just telling Scott Frost that I think that Shevchik's going to have more action on the 9. When he's breaking, the cue ball's really on a line coming back towards that racking end, or racking area, rather.
Well, he had the golden break in rack 3, and there've been a couple of times since then that he's at least had a look at one of the corner pockets.
Yeah, and more importantly, his best look at the 2. The 5 is near that 6-9 combination kind of looming, that lower left corner. You can't ask for more than this. The 2, 3, 4 really grouped together, so you have to take advantage when you get the advantage. And that's what we're seeing at the moment.
Talking about Pelovanovic perhaps hoping for the easy miss from his opponent to just give him a bit of a lifeline in this match. But I think if you were making a list of all the players on the tour in terms of who's most likely to throw in that easy miss and let you back into it, Shevchik would be very near the bottom of it.
Yeah, and you know, there's players through the years. I think I was kind of one that would have that miss from nowhere at times. It cost me, but
Extension call.
Shevchik, the more balls go in, like all of us, he gets more confident. And the other thing is, he's not going to overlook some. He's going to do his homework on every shot and make sure he's settled prior to letting that cue go.
By the way, there's no way you can refer to your playing career in the past tense anymore, Jeremy, after that great run at the US Open last year. Will we see you playing there again this time?
Yeah, I plan on it. I wanted to play a little more in 2025. And I tell you, a little jealous always when coming to these events, even though I love it. But I'd call it a good performance. Thanks for the great, but maybe one more step. We may have called it great, considering.
It was last 32, wasn't it?
Yeah. But for a guy that doesn't play very often, I think it was pretty good.
Absolutely.
All right, he wants to avoid straight in here and on the rail, and he took care of both of those. So, of course, there was a combination that dressed up on a unfortunate jump shot miss from Sanjin, a golden break, and now a little bit of an early win on the 6-9 if you can get to it. Could have used a little more out of the cue ball there. Wow, he's using the kiss shot here. Tells you how short he was.
Pelovanovic has had some very one-sided wins so far in this European Open, but he's on the other side of it today. That's 5 in a row for Shevchik. He's already just a couple away from victory. It's 8-1.
Bởi vì chưa đến giờ của thằng Việt Nam đánh.
Saturday in Sarajevo, where quarter-final places are up for grabs in the European Open, the first of the major events on the World 9-Ball Tour in 2025. One player from the host country survives in this tournament, but perhaps not for much longer, because Sanjin Pelovanovic is just a couple of racks away from going out. The other three last 16 matches all going comfortably the way of the lower-ranked player at the moment. Pius Labutas of Lithuania, 6-3 up on Singapore's Aloysius Yap. Daniel Maciol of Poland, 3 away from reaching the quarterfinals here for the second year in a row. He leads Ko Pin-yi 7-4, and Duong Kwok Hwang closing in on his third major quarterfinal appearance with a 6-3 lead against Moritz Neuhausen, one of 3 Germans who've made it to this stage. The locals have come out in force to watch their hometown hero. Things not going his way at all at the moment. Perhaps had a bit of misfortune at times, but we go back to that missed 6-ball as early as the second rack, which perhaps set the tone. And he's up against an opponent in Wojciech Szewczyk, who's been so efficient, capitalising on every opportunity, it feels like, that's come his way so far. I said the other matches all going the way of the lower-ranked player. This very much the exception. The world number 17 from Poland is perhaps heading for a landslide victory here. 8-1 he leads, 2 more. He'll be in the last 8 of the European Open for the second time.
One down again. Not the very comfortable look he's had a few times on the blue too. You can see it, which is what you want, even though it's not easy. But combination on the 2-4 that, I mean, is a little playable, but probably not. Don't think you're going to see a push out here. Sometimes, even though they can see the ball, when it lays funny, you still may see a push out. Doesn't want to just cross the 2 over to the top cushion and run the cue ball back down. Too easy of a safety in return with the 6-8 there, and maybe even the pink. I think he'll bank the 2 back by the 7, maybe run the cue ball behind the 8. Even though let him see it, if you kind of do the opposite and bring the cue ball on the other end, a lot easier to play safe. So good decision. Yeah, nothing easy at all. This is the type of shot I feel like you just got to kind of use your skill coming off his right side of the blue 2, put the cue ball behind the purple 5. Going to probably leave a pretty easy jump routine kick, but that's about all you have. Really good.
Yeah, that was a challenging situation. He'd been away from the table for quite some time prior to that. Returned to it, showed nice touch. At least asking a question of Szewczyk.
Extension called.
I didn't think he would really entertain going up the table. I thought he could kick below this. You'd love to go 2 cushions, but the purple may have that cut off. I think he can get 1 cushion to the bottom side of the 2. The hit is super important, of course, with an 8-1 victory, 8-1 lead. You're trying to keep the pressure on. He's going 3 cushions. Wow, he went between the 6-8 off the first cushion. That was impressive.
Well, wasn't too far away from catching it, coming back out of the jaws of the corner pocket.
Yeah, if he hits that at a little easier speed, it opens up and he gets that contact on the blue 2.
Well, you don't need me to tell you just how much Pelovanovic needs to make something happen here.
I'll tell you, it looks like the three's a little tight by the 6. Obviously not. He doesn't seem too worried, but you could move the cue ball down for the side pocket. And he's got nice and tidy. It should be okay.
In terms of these big matchroom events, there's no doubt took a bit of a backward step in 2024. Over the previous couple of years, he'd made it to the weekend in quite a few of these events. Made a semi-final for the Hanoi Open in October 2023, but last year he only got past the last 64 once. That was in this tournament, and even then he went out in the last 32. So he's come here to this event in his home city, looking to get rejuvenated. It was going pretty well until he walked out into the arena today. Having waited a long time for the opportunity to play in an event like this on home soil, he will do everything he can to prolong the adventure.
Yeah, well, believe it or not, I think Shevchuk's countryman Daniel Maciel has gotten to the hill first. I don't know if they've scored it yet, but I think he just had another break and run to go up 9-4.
He is. He's leading 9-4 against Copigny. Maciel, remember, was one rack away from the semi-finals of this European Open last year.
And I'll tell you, I think I saw something like maybe 5 or 6 break and runs in that match for him.
Maciel looking to reach his 3rd major quarter-final.
Well, you want to see him get out here. Obviously, we all do as pool fans, but I think the crowd will give him as much energy as possible. As a pool player, I mean, you always think you can win. But as long as your opponent needs 2 games, that's where you really think you can win. You can come back from pretty much anywhere.
It's been a while since Pelovanovic got a rack on the board. After losing 5 in a row, he's taken that one. The home crowd, who've been largely silenced so far in this contest, coming to life. So still plenty more last 16 action to come. And of course, we've got the quarterfinals later in the day. Max Lechner, very likable Austrian. He was runner-up in the US Open back in 2022. We'll be playing Naoki Oi later. Let's hear what he has to say about it.
Max, you've reached the last 16 of the European Open for the first time. Your best run in this tournament so far. How does it feel to be here right now?
I didn't know about my best run in the European Open so far, but yeah, it feels great. I'm playing the best pool of my life so far, and yeah, I'm looking forward to the next round.
Next up, you face Naoki Oi. How are you feeling about that matchup?
Yeah, we've played like once or twice already. It was always close matches. So yeah, I think I need to play my A game to be able to beat him.
And finally, what would it mean to you to win the European Open, your first matchroom major?
I can't tell you right now, but I'll try to tell you on Sunday evening.
Thank you so much. We'll see you soon.
Yeah, a couple of big occasion players in that match. Lechner's done well so often in both the World Championship and the US Open. And Oi has been a semi-finalist in both of those events in the past. So they will be in action among the last 16 matches later. A reminder that the next match on the main table here is going to be Joshua Filler against Jayson Shaw. Pelovanovic will be hoping they have to wait some time yet.
Well, we hear some claps, and we'll get that report here in a moment from table 3. But this is where he has to get it going on the breaking in if he's going to make this comeback.
Yeah, and the news from table 3 is that it is 10-4 over and out as far as Ko Pin-Yi is concerned. Runner-up in Hanoi last year. He won't be making the final this time, though, because Daniel Maciol has beaten him. And the Pole is the first player through to our quarterfinals tonight.
All right, this first shot, I think, is as much a tester as he could have in this rack. He's got to draw the cue ball to the side cushion. Got the 3 over the left middle.
These pool fans who have come here for this Saturday in Sarajevo, there's a lot to be appreciative about as far as Pelovanovic is concerned. He's played a big role in bringing a major tournament to their home city. Now he needs them to really get behind him and inspire him to the huge comeback he needs.
Yeah, that shot right there, you kind of got to hit it a little lighter, let the ball roll a little more. Kind of hugs on the slick table a little bit. He's gotten a little thin. And this usually doesn't bother this shot as much, but where is he going to fall on the purple 5? That's the real question. That was a settled stroke, not one you would think down 8-2.
No break and runs for him yet in the match. Again, if you're not familiar with the game, break and run means basically you keep your opponent off the table for the entire rack.
Guess there's plenty of space to come one cushion out to the center, avoiding the black 8. Doesn't want any contact there. You could tell he just let up on it a little bit at the end. When that happens, the back elbow breaks down a little, the tip comes up, doesn't quite get as much on the ball.
Extension cord.
Six ball in the second rack, 7 ball in the 11th rack. Could they be the 2 moments that Pelovanovic remembers most? He shouldn't have left himself in this position.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's not usually that first shot, but right there, a little light on the 6 coming across. Had a safety behind the 9, but I would have shot as well, I think, like most of the players in the tournament. Trying to get on a run to make up some of these games he's behind. This speed's going to be perfect, I think. Nice and tidy on the 8.
Extension cord.
Once Pelovanovic had missed that 7, you have to say there was a sense of inevitability around this arena about what was going to happen next. Shevchik has been ruthless in exploiting every opportunity that Pelovanovic has given him, and that is why he is now on the hill at 9-2. Well, that is going to be the really disappointing thing for Pelovanovic. Yes, he hasn't had as many chances as he would have liked, but really, he's only got himself to blame for that. Missed the 6 early on that I think really set the tone for so much. It was his chance to get level at 1-all. By the time he got back to the table, he was already 3-0 down after Ševčík had the golden break. And this was the ball which took Ševčík within 1 rack of his second European Open quarter-final. Jeremy, as we look back over the match, it's hard to think of any shot that Ševčík has missed that caused us any surprise at all. He's been so efficient.
Yeah, I don't really recall any at all. I mean, really some of the tougher shots he's knocked in. Kind of wiggled one in, I think it was, but it still went down. I mean, he's had a few missable shots, but he's been really solid. I'll tell you the thing I'm impressed with, because I haven't really got to put my eyes on him this week, is he's really picked up the break.
There's the Minister for Culture and Sport. So important when you're bringing events to new locations that you get the support of the local administration. And they've been really involved here throughout the week, making their presence felt. Hopefully this is the start of a very long association with the wonderful city of Sarajevo. Wojciech Ševčík certainly likes this place at the moment. He's cruising here at 9-2.
Ball going up near the corner. You got to take advantage when you get these, kind of things rolling your way, whether it be shots after the break, nice layouts, kicking safe. Does not matter. He's been on point no matter the situation. And we may have seen the last of Sanjin Pelovanovic here in the 2025 European Open.
Yeah, that was Ševčík's last break of the match. His 10th. Only once has he not made the one on the side. That was all the way back in rack 2, and Pelovanovic did have his chance to win that one. That was the one in which he missed the green 6. And really, that has set the tone for pretty much everything that's followed. Assuming Ševčík does finish the job in quarter-final action later tonight, and will almost certainly be on the main table again, because his opponent will be either Joshua Filler or Jayson Shaw.
Yeah, and of course you never know in 9-ball pool, but this looks like it might be a wrap. You're surely looking forward to that match. When he plays, of course, he's going to be a slight underdog, but getting the time on the table, getting to break the balls here on this table, it's going to do wonders for him moving forward.
Chance here for his 5th break and run of the match. And he simply couldn't have asked any more of himself in this contest. Still going to be a week that Pelovanovic will remember forever. And he won't be without his special memories to take away from it. He'll always have that win over Eklund Kaci last night.
And of course, we'll see much more of Sanjin next week, but this may have to go a little bit. So let's just get above it. Good thing for him, the 8's very handy. You can place the 8 in 3 or 4 places on the table where things will become very difficult. But
Extension call.
you just got to tip your hat to Ševčík. He's just played as solid a match as we've seen. Maybe SVB in that opener. He's the only one better I've seen on this table.
Talk about next week. That is, of course, the Premier League pool. Pelovanovic has got really good history in that event a couple of years ago in Leicester, as you referred to earlier on, JJ. 13 of his 15 matches in the first phase. Ended up in the semi-finals. After all the work he put in to get to the weekend here, it looks as though it's only going to take a dozen racks today. The dream, hometown glory to end for Pelovanovic for this year. But what about Wojciech Szczewczyk? A World Championship semi-finalist last year. A player who was capable of winning one of these big major titles. Giving them more moments to enjoy. But Szczewczyk is in the quarterfinals and clearly on top of his game. He wins 10-2.
Push.
and beat each other up. It's as simple as that. There you see Jayson Shaw, world rank number 11. And his best finish in this European Open, he's only a final 64, so he's done better than that, hasn't he, so far?
Yeah, I think also with Joshua Fuller, who is the world number 8 and has got a ceiling as high as you could possibly go, he would love to win this European Open because it's one that's missing from his CV. Not many are missing. Go to the semi-final. He's 23. That was the best so far for him. At his best, he is devastating. Quick look now over on table 2, where Lithuania's Piers Labutis on the hill against Aloysius Yap. Yap, of course, well capable of pulling this out of the fire. We saw a comeback on one of our stream tables yesterday from 4 down with 5 to play. But can't afford any more mistakes, Cole.
Knowing if there's a player left in the field who has got the capabilities of putting a 5 back together, it is Aloysius Yap. This is tricky though. I'm not even sure if he can pot it behind. No, he couldn't, so it didn't go past the round 7, and I think he may have just left the gap here. Labutis is coming around quickly to have a look, but I'm sure he can get through. You know, Phil, Labutis comes in that bracket of player for me a little bit like Wojciech, who we've just seen beat Sanjin Pelovanovic. They've done a lot in the game, but they've not done it on the WNT just yet. They're knocking on the door, aren't they?
Yeah, lost in the final of the Derby City Classic. Yeah, lost in the final. Joshua Fuller last year did Labutis. This year, well, he won the Bigfoot Challenge there at the Derby City in southern Indiana. It's called the Bigfoot because they play on a bigger table, 10 by 5.
Watch out, cue ball. Blue 2 rattled in. Cue ball nearly scratched.
So Yap left the gap, and now he might not be back.
That's a nice shot. He's probably going to have to take his meds in here and just stop the cue ball there. Play the pink 4 into the top right. And then back yourself to knock one of them funny little purple 5s in with the angle. One of these ones, but listen, at 9-5 up, this will feel like the 9 ball. This needs an angle on the green 6 as well. That way you can get back out into centre of the table for the brown 7. A bounce here.
He's very similar to Wojciech Chevchik. So reliable, so dependable.
Yeah, they're always there and thereabouts, aren't they? They're always knocking on the door. A little bit like Max Letton as well. He's another player. Oh, is it that beautiful? Really nice shot. Yeah, Max Letton, another player who's been knocking on the door, but yet to get that big title next to his name.
There were plenty of nearly men on the World 9 Ball Tour. Mario He also in that bracket. It's such a tough school. 256 players came to this event. Only one will leave, feeling on top of the world.
Yep, this match should well be over now. Cue ball's near the rail, but as long as it got a bit of an angle, there'll be no real trouble here.
As we said, reliable, dependable, and through to the quarterfinals. Piers Labutis doubles. And he now plays one top round of Vietnam in the runs this evening. And the other great thing about this match is that it's something of a rarity in big tournaments like this. These two don't often meet.
No, they have actually met in this very tournament, though, Phil. I actually think it was at this very stage as well. And it was the filler show then, completely dominated the match.
It's a colossus against a giant. You know the old phrase, when an immovable object meets an irresistible force, something's got to give. I've got no idea who will give. You can't predict anything. It could be a blowout. One player could dominate. It could be a classic and thoroughly dramatic.
Yeah, dry break. Gives Jayson the first look here, but he's just concerned about the red 3. You would think cue ball's going to be hitting one of them 2 balls. May try and draw into the 3. He's tried to play the gap, similar type of shot. This was always going to be the problem, though. He will have known this. He knew he was going to leave himself a testing pot on the blue 2. Only the second shot of the match, obviously. The first rack. Big game. The adrenaline will be there. He'll know this is a massive shot here coming up. He's overdone it. Did he get lucky with the cue ball? I believe he did.
Immense mutual respect between these two. They don't just play brilliantly, they play very similar games.
Decent hit. He was in a bit of trouble. He's not got away with it though. Shaw's back to the table after missing the blue 2, but getting a little bit of luck. Just looking at the green 6 ball. It's not in an ideal spot. It's not in a spot where you can kind of just give Shaw a 1. Give him the first rack. He's got work to do. He's tried to bump it out, I believe. Failed to do so. That camera angle kind of gives you the impression, the combo, but that combo's not easy. You'd love to be where the cue ball is right now, actually, if you're even gonna play for the combo, which he didn't. Obviously he's such a good potter. He's gonna back himself to slot this into the side. Scott Frost missed a similar one. 7 ball, wasn't it, Phil? Tight the middles from there, believe me.
Extension called.
Yeah, the only thing I'd add to that sentence, extremely tight. That's why he's gone at distance. It just about wriggled in, but he's far from ideal on the 7 ball.
Yeah, caught a little bit of the rail as well, so for the second time of asking, he's not got the job done, but he's got another hook. Josh has gone straight for the short stick. He's going to fly this cue ball through the air. Well, he's not lining up to pop this ball. Bit too pacey. What's he going to leave? He's going to leave a pot. So for the third time in the opening rack, can Jayson Shaw get the job done?
That is not a good sign. He's actually really lucky where the sevens come to rest.
Yeah, a little jumpy. You could see it on the replay.
That was superb.
Yeah, it really was. That was a beautiful safety shot. And listen, Josh has played thousands of racks of 9-ball, hundreds and thousands of matches. He's been around forever, and he'll know. He will have clocked a little bit of an edgy start here from Jayson. It's a decent hit, left a bit of distance. Against 95% of the field, he might get back to the table here, but Phil's a different animal.
Yeah, he's an absolutely brilliant potter. That was meat and drink for him. So it was a mistake-ridden opening rack. Jayson Shaw had his chances, but they were wasted. Now, the only last 16 match yet to get underway, Francisco Sanchez Ruiz against Tobias Bongas. Earlier, we spoke with the Spaniard.
Fran, you're back in the last 16 once again. How does it feel to be back in this stage?
Yeah, I felt good to be back here. The last 2 years I lost in quarterfinals, so I'm looking for past the line.
Next up, you face Tobias Bongas. How are you feeling about that matchup?
Yeah, I felt good. He's playing good, you know. He made a good win in the last 64 against Biado, also in the hill against Pogner. So, you know, but yes, it's going to be a tough match.
You've been close to winning the European title before, reaching the quarterfinals of both 2023 and 2024. What did it mean to you to finally claim the European crown?
Yeah, it means a lot, you know, especially because it's the first tournament of the year. So when you won a major, especially the big event of the season, so I think it's going to help me in my confidence.
Brilliant stuff. We'll see you soon.
You know, Joshua Filler, much like Francisco Sanchez Ruiz,
leading by 1-0.
When you go around the venue, normally got a wide smile on his face. This week, I've noticed every time I've seen him, he's been a lot more serious than normal. It seems to me, Carl, he's a man on a mission with something to prove.
Didn't make the one ball in the side. He won't care because another ball's gone in the pocket, and look where the yellow one's actually finished. It's over the pocket, the blue two's over another pocket. Well, he's lost the cue ball a bit there. You could hear the old tut after he struck it. He didn't want the cue ball nowhere near the rail. He's going to be forced into leaving a long, awkward little red 3 ball now because he can't get the cue ball closer to the red 3 because of where the cue ball's finished. And I'm just going to roll this one in. Yeah, it's only rack 2, Phil, but you just get the air of this is a big shot. put it wide.
That was always wide, and I think he just tapered off slightly as well because it was at such quiet pace.
Extension called.
He's obviously trying to get the cue ball further down the table, so it's going to be difficult because you've got to try and jump, draw the cue ball back. You can see it come back a little bit, but it's not enough. And the problem is, even if he can pot this pink in one of the bottom corners, which does look tight in both, to be fair, which might actually help Jayson out because he might be forced into playing safe. Yeah, he has. The reason why I say that, Phil, is because, you know, when you've missed a couple, you don't really want to take on another long pot for a while, do you?
Yeah, just plants a small seed of doubt. I think another similarity between these two, yes, they're known for their attacking abilities, but when it comes to tactics, they're right up there as well.
He's happy with this. He's happy with this, and why wouldn't he be? He knew he had the brown 7 as well. That was going to help him. Jayson's gone back for the jump cue here, so he's trying to jump over the edge of the 8 ball. I think he's going to try and sneak past the brown 7. Villa's got another long pot.
Villa's opponents hope he misses pots from distance. But there's no great optimism. You fear the worst. And he's over anything.
Yeah, he's found the rail again though, hasn't he? So he's knocking his balls in, but he's just losing cue ball control. It might not be the end of the world here. He might be able to power this off 2 rails and back down. Yeah, he could. This will be fine. Tell you what, Jayson sure would love to rewind the clock 10-15 minutes and start this match again, because opportunities that he usually takes have gone missing here. He knows the type of player Josh is. He can really start to rattle 2-3 racks off in no time, Phil, can't he? And this can start to get away from you.
Well, Filler is dynamite. He's a genius. He's got abundant skill and nerve. And in cue sports, that is a very dynamic combination. Jayson Shaw falls 2-0 behind. Let's take a look at table 3, which is commentary position. One of the great characters of the game is involved over there, Naoki. He's been playing very nicely below the radar this week, and he leads Austria's Max Lechner by 4 racks to 1 with a chance to make it 5-1. He's one of those players who entertains on the table and then in the post-match interviews. Just as I'm bigging Naoki up, he misses that 5 ball. Be relieved. He's a streaky player, isn't he, Cole? When he gets a roll, he's capable of beating anyone.
Yeah, another player with a high gear, and you can see the disgust from Mad Max there. Look at where he's left the cue ball. He could have left it anywhere in the centre of the table. He'd have won rack 6.
loose cue ball as well, so a very poor positional shot, followed by a deadly error.
Yeah, Max Leitner there. The cue ball should be nowhere near the pocket. You're leaving your opponent a bit of work to do. Instead of giving you your ball in hand rather. And keep you updated as always.
Yeah, the other two matches out there, Tobias Bongas has won the first rack from Francisco Sanchez Ruiz, and Hong Kong's former World Masters runner-up Lo Ho Sun 3-1 up on Mark Beisterbosch.
Yeah, this is what we call a push out after the break. The very next shot, you can do what we call a push out. You can roll the cue ball anywhere on the table, hit a ball, pot a ball. But the incoming player has the option to play the shot or pass, so Shaw's having a look. If he doesn't like it, he'll give it back. I'll be surprised if he gives it back though. Just because the one rail kick hitting it full in the face is fairly easy. Not guaranteed to get a save back, bear in mind. He's up and down, he feels it's a bit tight, this one. Not the hit, of course, he's really trying to size up where the blue two's going. Yeah, he's giving it back.
Please play again.
I think he's worried about hitting the three, or he's worried about hitting the side pocket. He just needs a good chance here, Shaw, just to settle him back down, doesn't he, Phil, after especially the opening rack made a few blunders. Watch outside pocket. Well, he's mishit that, to be fair. Well, Jayson, you're going to have to knock a long ball in it. Cue ball's going to be going towards the pink 4 ball. Might not be easy to avoid hitting that ball. Might be able to try and squeeze around the back. Make sure you pop this one though. That's rule number 1. Yeah, he just couldn't really avoid it. He tried to sneak around the back or maybe clip it a bit more on the left.
At least he delivered the cue with more freedom there.
Yeah, I mean, still won't please him because he's hooked, but I hear what you're saying. He might give this a bit of a whack. Oh, it's all gone wrong for the start of this match. It's just not gone the Scotsman's way.
And it's been a pattern of domination for Joshua Phillip from the start of the tournament. He began with a couple of 9-0 whitewashes over Danny King and Holger Veer. Then he beat Besa Spahiu, Albanian World Cup player, 9-2. Dimitris Lakatos of Greece, 10-2. And then Portugal's João Grillo, 10-3. He's hardly broke sweat. Already won a couple of tournaments in 2025, including the Derby City Classic 9-ball. Overcame Alex Pagulayan of Canada in the title match.
Extension called.
Being wise here, you're allowed 1 30-second extension per player per rack, and why not take it? Why not use it? In this tournament, Joshua Fuller has now won 50 racks for the loss of only 7. He's not lost any in this match.
Don't even know what you are messing with. We're coming at you with a brand new hit. Something's telling me that it's still in time.
I didn't know you were that fast, dude. That's crazy.
Hi, Dr. Dave here with 10 great tips. Hi, Dr. Dave here with 10 great tips to help you with your speed control. First, when looking at view data for my recent video, I noticed that many of my viewers are not channel subscribers. If you have enjoyed or benefited
Splendid Sarajevo in the Hotel Hills complex, venue for the European Open of 2025. Already through to the quarterfinals this afternoon, Wojciech Szewczyk, Pius Labutis, Daniel Maciol and Duong Quoquang. The next segment of last 16 matches now all underway across this arena. Leo Kioi in total control against Max Lechner at 6-1. Loho Sen 3-2 up on Mark Bosch de Bosch, the Dutchman with the big break. Francisco Sanchez Ruiz has just equalised against Tobias Bongers, but pretty much all eyes on Filler against Shaw. And Filler's one of those players, he can not just produce excellence, but sustain it. And look at this. Look at this.
Yeah, he's got the perfect angle here as well. So you look where the red 3 ball has finished, it's up at the top end of the table, and the natural angle here, Phil, on potting this blue 2 will swing the cue ball around 3, maybe 4 rails, probably try and hit the 4th rail. He's just concerned about the 9 ball though. He wants to avoid hitting the 9 in the centre of the table. We've just seen the current results, didn't we? And all the matches have been fairly one-sided so far today. Wasn't the case yesterday, Phil. We had a lot of hills, didn't we? So much drama yesterday.
Well, Tobias Bongers had his money's worth. He was 7-1 up on Carlo Biardo in the last 64. Ended up winning 10-9 after a match that lasted nearly 4 hours. These two could play a race to 20 and it wouldn't last 4 hours.
Smart shot. Many a player would have attempted potting the ball and missing the 9 with the cue ball. And maybe you've ended up hitting the 9 and having no shot on the 3. He showed a lot of patience there, did Phil. Played a wonderful safety. Yeah, and then Tobias's Bonga's next match, he was 9-5 down, Phil. Against Yannick Pongas. We're not making these names up, I promise you. And he come back to win 10-9. What a day he had yesterday. Good hit there from Jay.
Yeah, Bongas against Pongas. A commentator's nightmare, but terrific for the crowd. Young Yannick Pongas from the Netherlands was on the threshold of victory and then, well, to a large extent, he froze. Now for Naoki Oi over Max Lechner. Lechner missing quite a straightforward pot in the 8th rack. Oh, that's better for sure. That one's better. Not much room to nestle in behind the 5.
Yeah, good safety. He's a big favourite to hit this blue 2 though. It's where it finishes. That's what's going to be key. Well, he's definitely left a pot.
Extension called.
You might be thinking it's a gamble to take your extension so early in a rack, but this happens quite often.
Yeah, the gamble was paid off. This is going to settle him down. It's always nice when you knock the bumblebee in. That's what we call the 9 ball. And it's this to get his first rack on the board.
He's been there, he's done it all in pressurised situations. When it comes to the Moscone Cup, he is an inspirational figure. He'll need to be inspired in this match, but do not write off his chances. Now, Piers Labutis, a little earlier on, reached the quarterfinals by doubling up on Aloysius Schnapp, winning by 10 racks to 5. This was the decisive ball. And you might imagine the man from Lithuania is delighted.
Piers, a 3rd Matchroom major quarterfinal in 3 years is becoming a bit of a habit now.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, I've been playing good. The last match was a bit sloppy, but, you know, I just got over the line, just tried to grind it and got it there. So, yeah, I hope for more.
It seems like in the past year or so, you've really been able to take your game to another level. What is it that you think you put that down to?
Well, I started working with a new coach, Johan. He helped me with the technique a little bit, but I feel like I'm getting more mature with my mind also at the table. You know, I'm getting like more used to TV table and playing big guys. So, yeah, everything. It's a combination.
And the Martian Duong Kok Kwang is next. We know what he can do on this stage. How much do you know about him and what do you think you'll be able to bring to that match?
Yeah, he's an amazing player. I mean, one of the top Vietnamese players and top players in the world. I mean, everybody in this stage can play really good. I just, you know, it doesn't matter actually who I will play. I'll just try to play my game very good, and we'll see what happens.
And finally, with last 8 now, you can start to think about maybe what it might mean to win that trophy. Is that in your head at all, or are you fully concentrating on the match ahead?
Well, now when you said it, yeah. I don't want to think about it, you know, it's just, we'll see. You know, every match is different, every rack is different, so we'll see what goes next.
Yes.
Pool is the most cosmopolitan of Q Sports. Lithuania, one of 13 countries represented in the last 16 here. 11 European players, 5 Asian players, no North Americans gone. Purple 5 to the green 6. It's going to be the big shot in this rack. It's all about what angle it leaves himself. Yeah, decision time. Does he play the one rail sort of stun shot with a bit of right? It's very easy to overhit the ball, and then you come too far down bottom end of the table near the bottom rail. Angle may be a bit steep to go forward off 2 though, so he's forced into the stun. Watch outside pocket, it's close. Oh. Dicing with the side there.
Extension called.
Just crept onto that bump. He didn't like it, Phil. I think he knew he couldn't avoid the 8. I think his initial thought process was pot it and play one rail up between both the balls. But I think because he's missed a couple of tricky balls, he didn't fancy backing himself to pot what would be an awkward 7 ball. He's been fortunate. He's landed on quite an easy bank into this side pocket. Hit both jaws, but it's gone in. He's landed a bit in between, hasn't he? Do you go top left or do you go top right? Yeah, it wasn't a sure thing, was it? What a bonus for Fuller. What a setback for sure.
Extension called.
When you look back at the fabric of any match, let alone one as high profile as this, you often identify a rack such as that to be intrinsic in the outcome. Now on table 3, we've had a look over there already. Naoki Oi, 8-1 up on Max Lettner. I made that 50-50 before the start. I did not imagine the scoreline would be this one-sided goal. Yeah, I mean, obviously the table's kind of just down below where
where Sackville and Lechner's had opportunities at the table. He's just been missing. And Ukioi won't mind, he's just there mopping up the pieces.
Yes, he's the court jester of the World 9-Ball Tour, off the table when he does his media responsibilities. He's always full of fun and laughing and joking around, endearing himself to on the table. Don't be confused. Tiger.
A little bit thin contact. That's why the one's not gone in the side. The balls didn't really seem to move up top end of the table as well. Watch where the cue ball goes. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't overly as bad as I initially thought. Just shows you how tight them sides are. Again, things don't come easy when you're making mistakes. Obviously this is easy, but get the right position on that blue 2 ball to then get from the 2 to the red 3. So he has an angle here. Obviously we don't really know if this 3 ball pots anywhere, do we? It might go in the corner past the 9 and pink. And he's come over, he's crashed into him, and it's gone wrong. Still only 4-1, we're not even halfway through yet.
Extension called.
Jayson Shaw needs to tell himself. Just try and get a real good safety here. And it's got to be good because, for me, Joshua Phil has really improved his tactical and kicking side of the game. Oh, this is just a shocker. He's got down and kind of rushed it with his right hand. It's all gone wrong. He's double hit it and he's left it over the side bin.
The ball's on a platter for Killer Filler. Still only 28 years of age, he's been around, it seems, forever. An immense trophy cabinet. Won the World 9-Ball Championship in 2018, the US Open in 2019. He's won the UK Open in the past, the World Masters. Gold medal at the World Games 9-Ball. You name it, he's done it.
Didn't hit that as pure as he would have liked.
Extension called.
The 8 ball didn't go in the centre of the pocket. So he's just left himself a bit of work to do on this 9-ball.
Yes, for the third time already in the match, he's taking his extension on the final 9. He looks thoroughly determined, and Joshua Filler already halfway to victory over Jayson Shaw. It's 5-1. "41 years after Torvill and Dean's Winter Olympics here in Sarajevo, Naoki Oi has put Max Lechner on ice. In fact, he's frozen him out completely. These are the last few moments of a totally dominant victory. The Japanese player had this most routine of 9 balls to complete a 10-1 success. Oi, oi, Naoki is targeting the title.
Wow.
Well, the break for Jayson as he comes back from it and he sits in his chair. He knows obviously Joshua Filler had the break And he knows he's got a shot on the blue too. The red 3's a bit of a funny one though, isn't it? Don't really know where that pots. Don't believe it sneaks past the 8 ball.
You might think a 3-8 combo is a given. It isn't. Nicely judged. Also making sure the 3 ball comes out into open table. Yes, he's got awkward cueing, but that could have finished a lot worse.
Yeah, showing the qualities. Just flicked the 9 board, didn't it? Any thicker, probably wouldn't have potted it.
Yeah, a wry smile on the face of Jayson Shaw in his seat. At least it's not the 9 ball into one of the most awkward positions on the table.
Yeah, the fact that it was off the rail means it's sort of unmissable on a pool table, but wherever it's touching the rail, if you don't get him right behind it, he can catch you out them pots.
Extension called.
Wants to get as close to this rail as possible. Playing it up into that pocket he's just looked at is a little bit daunting. But he may be forced into this. Yeah, just because of the angle he left himself. These are awkward. We've all missed these.
Psychologically, you're always thinking about that far jaw of the middle pocket. But Fuller sweeps past it and sweeps into a 6-1 lead, breaking and running out. Jayson Shaw is in deep trouble. Any 6-1 deficit in a race to 10 spells trouble, but especially against someone like Fuller. So two other going on at the moment. Tobias Bongers, the surprise package of the event, led Francisco Sanchez-Ruiz 4-2. Now, though, the Spaniard, who has got one of the most bubbly and effervescent personalities of any sportsman I've ever encountered, looks like he's going to get back onto level terms at 4-4. He's perennially happy, isn't he, FSR?
Yeah, he's always happy to be at the tournaments, at the venues and competing, and kind of hops his way around the table. And he's turned into Mr. Consistency as well, world rank number 2.
Yes, he was number 1 on the world quite some time. And number 2 behind, of course, the man who dominated last year's big events, Fedor Gorst.
It's not really broke very well in this match, Phil, has it? That's the other reason why Jayson will be annoyed he's 6-1 down. It's not like Phil's gone 4-pack against him. Beautiful angle there, shows you the 1 ball curving towards the near jaw. And Jay's played a couple of touchy safeties and played them both well.
Yeah, that's the thing. He's 6-1 down, but he's been responsible for some really good shots, actually.
It's a real good chance now. Playing this into the corner.
You have to believe the comeback must start here. That's Jayson Shaw's wife, Cole.
Ira Shaw travels all over with him. Very much a team.
Yeah, born in Glasgow, but based in Connecticut, USA. He's recently had a world record ratified. He ran, would you believe, 832 consecutive balls in straight pool. What a triumph of concentration that is. Does so at their peril. Yes, it's a ways back against someone like Filler, but 6-2 for someone like Jayson Shaw, it is manageable. So Naoki Oi coming through by 10 racks to 1. The Japanese star knocking in that 9-ball to beat Max Lettner so thoroughly. Now, this is a moment I've been looking forward to, a Naoki Oi interview.
N1 against Max Leitner, what a result. How are you feeling right now?
Yeah, unbelievable. First game is me, big chance is a mistake is Max, maybe I think so. Oi today, maybe bad play and maybe broken, and the comeback with the break run out, three break run out, and the big counter, and the Max is very confused. Maybe super unbelievable rare games, super lucky. Yeah, Max is today super no lucky. My Max is a big friend. Broke a heart there.
But for you, it's the first time you've got to the quarterfinals now since the US Open. How happy are you and how excited are you to go into the last 8 and try to win the title?
Yeah, last 8. Yeah, quarterfinal is very exciting, but just now many tournament. Sometimes the winner. Congrats. I want a final is. Yeah, I hope so. Final. Go to final.
We're not sure who you play just yet. Are you going to keep an eye on the Bista Bosch Loho Sun match? Are you going to go off and relax ahead of your next match?
Yeah, next is the same style as Japanese. Onegaishimasu. Yeah, please, lucky. Yeah.
Best of luck, Naoki.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, for him, that was extremely subdued. I think it was because it was conducted in the arena and it didn't want to take anyone off. Yeah, so he plays Loho Sun or Mark Bista Bosch next. That match is on table 5 and it's 5-all.
Meanwhile, back on centre court, Jayson Shaw broke off and had a real nice split of the table. This is for a break and run, and I'm sure we can all agree this is a must-win rack. If he can get it back to 6-3, he's still in touching distance of Filler. He's not going to get too many more chances to come back. Joshua Filler's far too good. He's far too good at closing matches out. He doesn't fall over the line, Filler. He runs over the line. Shaw just needs to bottle that Mosconi Cup inspiration. He was player, he was captain, and at the end, when Europe retained the cup again, he was most valuable player. Do not dismiss his chances. Fuller's lead reduced from 6-1 to 6-3.
Don't even know what you are messing with. We're coming at you with a brand new hit. Something's telling me that it's still in time.
Sarajevo, what a lovely place, surrounded by the Dinaric Alps. We're in a valley here. On a high, the likes of Wojciech Szewczyk, Piers Labutis, Daniel Maceiol and Duong Kok Wang, already winners this afternoon. So too, the most recent victor, Neu Kioi. 3 last 16 matches still going on, including the blockbuster Joshua Filler against Jayson Shaw. Shaw pulling back within 3. There's this large crowd at the Hotel Hills complex. Wonder whether Eagle Eye can squeak. Very good strike on the break. Looks like he's going to get a shot. Okay, there's a real chance here to close this gap. 6-1 down he was, Jayson.
heard a mobile phone there. Players didn't seem to flinch. Very different from snooker.
Yeah, not ideal where he finished on the 3 ball. He was too straight, so he's had to take his medicine, and he's had to take what the table gives him. Got to knock a good
Extension
ball
called.
in here, and then once he knocks it in, he's got to try and get on this purple 5. It's been these situations where he's made a bit of a blunder. And it's another blunder, Phil. I was saying a rack and a half ago, you're not going to keep getting chances to get back in the match against Joshua Filler.
Yeah, the 9 ball was intervening, but he overcut the ball there, so he definitely could have potted the 4.
Yeah, and it was the previous one where he landed too straight on the red 3 ball. He couldn't get closer to the pink 4.
Shaw had that modicum of momentum. Now it might have dissipated. So many options for Filler to retake a 4-rack lead. Anywhere but right under the cushion, needs any kind of bounce, and he didn't receive any. So a big question mark about the rack now. Horrible shot to play, Cole.
Got to play this with a bit of power as well. That's the problem. Yeah, it's not going to come as far as he would have liked. That shows you how difficult this pot is. If he can hit this full ball, he'll play the hook in behind the 9. Outside chance at the bank. Doesn't want it over the pocket. Oh, that's an error from Phil. The reason why I say that is because Jayson's a big favourite to pot this ball.
Potted 2 balls, and it's all there in black and white.
Start the shot clock.
Yeah, you almost needed to hit that top rail first, then pot the 8.
What a potential turning point that is. Filler now 7-3 up, when the gap could so easily have been just a couple of racks. Drama. Carl, you predicted that Jayson Shaw would knock in the black 8 ball. He did, but he just caught it too thick.
Yeah, it was this visit though to the table. They're not easy. Them angles are a lot steeper from when you're in Jayson's position. Have a look where the cue ball hits the 8. It hit it too full, and you can scratch off the back of it, which he did. But he had his opportunity, Phil. And it's another opportunity gone. That's been the story of the match. Phil has played great. He's played some really nice shots in this match. But it's not often this man on your screens loses a game of 9 ball from this position.
Yeah, in the calendar years 2023 and 2024.
Break number 11. Joshua Filler to break, leading by 7 racks to 3.
Joshua Filler won over $300,000 in tournament pool, and he's been on the money in this match as well. Oh, look at this. Look at this. In goes the 1, in goes the 2, and where's the 3? Sitting pretty.
That'll work out okay. Just wondering if he'll pull the cue ball back up to the top rail. Yeah, that's what he's done. Just makes this shot a lot easier. Position to the green 6.
You would say the first rack in a match involving potentially 19 racks wouldn't be that significant. I think here it set the tone. Shaw had 3 chances, he ended up losing it. And Filler's just pulled away.
Yeah, seems a few of the matches have gone this way today. Max like the Yuki-Oi. We know Max had plenty of visits to the table and didn't convert.
Yeah, this knowledgeable crowd, at least a few of them, clapping that because, as Carl alluded to earlier, the pocket entrances from acute angles are tight. That was a good pot on the 8. And a very simple one on the 9 as the Filler juggernaut continues to roll. Nothing Shaw could do about that. It was a break and run out. 1 and 2 went in off the break, and then he went on from there. It is 8-3. The dark clouds are gathering for Jayson Shaw. More competitive. Tobias Bongas has gone back in front at 5-4 over Francisco Sanchez-Ruiz. Wanted to play Daniel Maciol of Poland, who overcame Kopin-Yi earlier, 10-4. What a double for Maciol. Boning today, Kopin-Yi. He could be faced with FSR next. The Spaniard has a lot of work to do, Carl. Having the tournament of his life.
Yeah, if you're just tuning in to the European Open and you're thinking all these matches are just one-sided, I can assure you, yesterday was a different tale of the tape. So many 10-9s, 10-8s around the room. It looks like the former world #1, FSR, is going to tie that match up over on table 2. Back to the main table, Filler's just broke off, he's hooked on the blue 2. So he will play the push out.
Push out cold.
This is a game within a game. A real art to pushing out. You need to know your opponent's strength and just have that innate feeling of what to do at any particular moment.
Oh, please play again.
Shaw not taking a great amount of time to put Filler back at the table.
little soft one. Clever shot there. He knew the 9 ball was there for the cue ball. Also trying to use the purple 5.
One other score update for you. Hong Kong's Lo Ho Sun 8-6 up on Mark Bosch.
He just loves the shot in 9 ball, what feels like rack ball, doesn't he, Phil? How many times over the years have we seen Joshua Filler stand up and knock them crucial balls in?
Well, he's the best potter in pool. It's as simple as that. But he's got much more to his game than mere potting. The whole package.
Yeah, he packs plenty of bottle. Can't be taught. It's a little short of pace, this ball. Not quite sure if he can reach and still cut this ball along the back rail.
Earlier in the week we saw Yuan Che knocking a couple of balls like this, but surely this is not possible. No, not even for Magician Fuller. Maybe the next best thing.
Extension called.
But as you can see there, with that excellent camera angle, there's a clear path through for sure.
Yeah, gonna need to pull something big out the bag here. He'll play the bank, full table bank, knowing that the 9's over the pocket, kind of. But he's left a long pot, bit of a mile away there.
If you've got a pot like this for your life, who would you nominate? The man at the table right now.
You know, why did cue balls come around the back of the 9? Obviously. Yeah, playing it up into the top right corner, offers a bigger pocket, can afford to hit the rail 2, 3, 4 inches up. Should still go in. This to get on the hill. It's a bit wide, you know. I thought as soon as he hit it, a little bit wide on Phil after this rack. I believe we might be going into a break. Something for Phil to think about.
Yeah, something to stew on. It was just what Jayson Shaw needed. To that point, Filler had been relentless and ruthless, but the 9 ball escaped his clutches. 8-4. This is the Hotel Hills complex in Sarajevo, which for the first time is hosting the World 9-Ball Tour major ranking event that is the European Open. We've seen all kinds of shocks. The defending champion, Mickey Kraus, didn't survive past day 3. Now, this afternoon in the last 16, Joshua Filler might well have been on the hill against Jayson on table 1, but he missed quite a tricky 9-ball. On the hill on table 4, though, it is Lo Ho Sum, who is 9-6 up on Mark Beisterbosch.
Yeah, Lo Ho Sum has got the job done, Phil. He's just below me currently getting his picture taken. Happy with his victory. So he should be. He's through to the quarterfinals.
So 2 matches still going on in the last 16. This one, which has taken an intriguing twist. And on table 2, Tobias Bonger's back in front against Francisco Sanchez Ruiz at 6-5.
Yeah, that one's real back and forth. Okay, Josh has played a bit of a bizarre positional shot. Maybe still thinking about the previous rack where he missed a 9-ball up the long rail to go on the hill. Does the red 3-ball pot in that pocket that's near the 9-ball? These are not easy. He's got to play this quite firm. Could end up rattling it and leaving it over the pocket. Oh, he's hit that nice, believe me. That is a very, very underrated shot. Full table with right-hand spin to get the cue ball off 3 rails. And it does pot. Well, I'll tell you what, Phil. He needed to get the cue ball further up table. Yeah, I think he wanted to play the combo. Or he needed to be closer anyway, because if it goes in the pocket, it's very tight off that jaw. The fact that he's left this much distance means now this is not guaranteed.
Extension call.
It was a good 3 feet short. Where's the cue ball going to finish? Thought we were just going to sneak in behind then for a second.
Yeah, just nudging the black 8-ball really helped Shaw scores.
Extension called.
Might be forced in playing just the up and down, just try and get the pink 4 back on this bottom rail somewhere. Just leave distance. Looks like he's loading up the bank. I know he was jacking up, sorry, to get in behind the brown 7.
It is the most powerful currency in cue sports, being able to pot.
Pure. That was very pure. Even though the scoreline is looking like it's going to be 9-4, it just doesn't feel like it's 9-4, does it? Because we've seen a lot of Shaw at the table.
yeah, it's been the odd mistake here and there, and I'm afraid against someone like Filler, he can make very few mistakes, especially when he's so motivated and so incentivized. Basically, he wants it bad. The German is on the hill, and that means we have a potential 6 remaining racks, and Jayson Shaw has to win them all against anyone. That's tough. Against Joshua Filler, it's mighty tough. I'm not going to say impossible, though. Now, Carl told us that Loho Sum had beaten Mark Bosch, and these are the winning moments. He has been in a World Masters final before, the youngster from Hong Kong. Towards the tail end of last year, he wasn't playing his best, but now, clearly, it's been a big revival. He must be overjoyed.
Just beat Mark Bosch 10-6. How are you feeling right now?
Brilliant, brilliant. So, yes, insane mental, just enjoy and play my game. I didn't feel too much pressure, and the heartbeat is not like, you know, just enjoy the game, yeah.
Obviously, this is the furthest you've got in a matchroom major, the quarterfinals. What would it mean to you to win the European crown?
Well, I mean, winning a tournament is always very meaningful for us, for a player. So, same, didn't expect too much, don't expect too much, just play, enjoy every single rack and every ball. So, just do the best.
Next up, you face Naoki Oi. How are you feeling about that matchup?
Wow, he's quite a strong player. As I watch his match, it's like boom, boom, is very, very quick. So yeah, just trying to beat him and do the best and do whatever I can do to win next match.
Well, best of luck.
Filler might be in to win here.
Yep, this is the table layout he's got to knock Shaw out of this year's event, and Filler will march on into another big major quarter-final. He's so reliable in these situations, Phil, when he can, you know, have half a chance to win a match. Usually he takes it.
He's won thousands of matches. This one, though, will give him particular pleasure.
Extension called.
Plays that shot note so nice. Phil times it really well. It's easy to decel and miss the ball or overhit it. He gets the most out of the cue ball. A little thick, but it's gone. And it looks like Shaw's going to be a gunner as well.
Yes, 10-4 over and out. No joy for Jayson, because Joshua, well, Filler filled up the pockets as he normally does. 10-4, very impressive. He's into the quarterfinals.
attention.